Hello and welcome to the Joaquim4gov broadcast, Wednesday, 6th of February 2013, PM edition. I was in training for most of the day today, so haven't really been able to catch up on anything that's happened to any sort of reasonable extent. I've decided to just keep doing it even though I've got nothing to say, just to add to the raw realness of this thing, and you can see what it's like for someone to talk when they've got nothing to say, which is reminiscent of most of what you hear politicians do anyway, so why the hell not? I did have a quick look at the SMH before I left. I saw that someone's commented on that Telstra P2P throttling business, and yeah, of course they said anyone will be able to get around it easily, which is what I said as well. I'm actually going to have to look into more of the method that they're going to use to detect it, because it was brought up, I think, in the comments that could be classified as snooping into your data, and they're also talking about encrypting it will mainly solve the problem. So I'm very curious to see how deep they're actually going and how much they're going to have access to. You don't know the P2P packet until you look at it. You're going to look at all the packets. You're effectively monitoring all data that is being transmitted, which is a huge no-no. So I'm going to look into that when I get a chance, or you look into it or you already know, and let me know. That's something that is very important. Keep on top of that. I also saw some pictures of some dude, some Aboriginal elder being arrested and dragged away on his own land somewhere in New South Wales. Haven't had a chance to look at it at all. But that just goes back to, well, it goes back to a lot of things, but I think it had to do with resources or CSG or something like that, coal seam gas. I think it had to do with the protest. And apparently this is native title land, or, land that they own, or something that it's not just normal land. And that goes probably back to the Queen and her resources. And even if you're an Aboriginal elder on your own traditional Aboriginal land, you can still get dragged off it. So that's a props, a heads up, a hello, I guess, to, I think it was the Aboriginal Tent Embassy on Facebook. I had a couple of people that I follow that brought up the same thing. So keep up the good fight, whoever it is that's protesting over there. And hopefully you won't get too rocked up or charged even. Shouldn't get charged. I was going to keep it short, and I was going to say you'll be able to see that they're short by the length of the video, and you can decide whether or not to watch when I don't really have much to say. But I just decided to have a little bit more to say. Why not? Talking about protesting and getting charged and things like that. One story that I've been teasing at, I guess you could say, is when this whole Occupy movement started, I was conveniently not working during that time. And from what I saw globally, especially considering, the places in the world where they did it was at that country's central bank headquarters, if you will. And that told me that, at least to some degree, these people know what they're talking about, and it's worth having a look-see. And I was going there most days. It was a long trip for me to go to, but I figured, why the hell not? And I got some video footage of just, what they did in Martin Place, and a lot of the signs and posters and things like that were put up, and they were very knowledgeable. The signs were anyway. Seemed a lot of people were talking about, central banking and just general tyranny and all sorts of different things, but they were on point. They weren't just your mindless protesting for the sake of protesting and not knowing why you're there and all that kind of thing. So I decided to start filming what do they call it? I don't know, their little meetings that they were having, where apparently anyone could rock up and talk about what they wanted to talk about, and somehow by the end of it there would be some sort of agenda set or goal or something like that, because they were getting a lot of criticism, locally and globally, that they were aimless. They were just there, and they didn't really know why they were there or what they could do about it. So I sought to see if that was the case, and very interesting how they people, that are skilled in this particular thing, or organising protests and controlling them to a large extent, soon made themselves apparent, and it was basically crippled, because you couldn't get a word in, you couldn't make anything happen, whether you wanted to or not. I talked to people that knew why they were there, I talked to people that had no clue why they were there as well, but if you followed the little system and waited your turn and stood around, you still couldn't say anything, let alone, that's just to say something, let alone, have a vote on it and do your little fingers and then go through the 20 objections from the people in the crowd that don't like the certain wording or something because it offends some obscure thing, and it was just, I forget the name of it. What is the name of it? There is a system to basically cripple the progress of any sort of public meeting, and that's what was going on by mainly people in the recognized political ideology groups. Mainly the communists and stuff like that, socialists, whatever they call themselves. They were very much taking the reins, even though they really have no right to. And there were people cracking it and doing what they should do and just yelling and getting angry, and that was good and bad. So this carried on for about a month, and from the news that I was reading globally, I could see that it had basically run its course, and it was now going to be eliminated. From memory, I think they were trying to infiltrate it so that the people just were talking, basically make them control opposition, and that wasn't working globally. It sure as hell worked here quite early on, but because it wasn't working globally the velvet glove came off and the iron fist started cleaning up house. And you know what happened, people, heads started getting busted, the pepper spray started, your riot cops, your bloody high-pitched, all your classic stormtrooper stuff. And there was, I don't know, Facebook, Twitter, they had a website, our one here, something like that, combination of all that stuff. And I started telling them, look, you're going to get evicted. It's a global coordinated effort. It will happen, the next day or whatever it is that, whenever I said it would happen. Having been there, I could see that they were getting quite a good amount of support from the people, local people just walking by or collectively. As far as an infrastructure to maintain it, that was going well. Donations, monetary and otherwise, it was working. So the only reason they could legally be moved was basically by the authority of the council enforcing zoning laws or some council regulation or something that you can't camp. That was the only way they could legally be removed. So, I tried to tell them all, when you get evicted, just let them do it. Just let them do it. Don't offer yourself up, but don't physically resist, because then they've got license to arrest your ass and start cracking heads and everything else again. Just take what you can. No court appearances, no lockups. Be back in the morning, and you will have the people even more on your side. And the donations that they were getting alone would have kept them going, even if they took all their stuff, all the camping, all the food stuff, all the infrastructure, everything. And they would have had the moral authority even more so. They didn't listen, needless to say. The very night that I assumed, well, I knew pretty sure that it was going to happen, I rocked up at Martin Place. I think I got there at 6 p.m. and I just started filming. The people, the side, the cops that were hanging around, trying to talk to them, but they've been trained very well to look at the public as the enemy, or whatever it is that they're trained. I won't assume I know, but the way that they act, it's not very friendly. It's not very peacekeeper, civil servant type, which is what they are. So I made sure that I had no sleeping equipment or any of that crap on me. I got there at 6 p.m. I was up and filming, didn't sleep the whole time. So at least personally, the trumped up camping charge could not be applied to me. I'm butchering this story in the detail, by the way, but like I said earlier, I do have another YouTube channel, whatever it is. That one is ZHARKLN. Zark. So there'll be all this video that I'm talking about there. So I noticed there was a very big wig floating around after everyone went to bed. A copper with many decorations on the shoulder, if you know what I mean. Just floating around the place. He was floating around the top street that I forget the name of. An M Street, maybe? You know what I'm talking about if you know Martin Place. And if you don't, look it up on Google. And yeah, he looked very suspicious. Clipboard, many stars, hasn't been there the whole time. And you could tell the coppers that were sitting around doing nothing, just sitting around having small talk with each other, even though I was sitting right next to them, they refused to talk to me because I'm the enemy for some reason. They got very serious when they saw him. They even sat up straight. It's just so ridiculous. But anyway, I went over to him and asked him, are you here to arrest people? People going to get evicted today, Put it to him. I wish I remembered his name. I wish I filmed that bit. But I didn't want to put him offside by filming that. I wanted to get an honest answer, so... And he said, no, I'm just here to make sure everyone's safe and to keep the peace and all this. And I think it was about half an hour later, the stormtroopers started piling out, and the panic started setting in, and the lines started forming, and they started evicting everyone by force, and everyone did what the typical uninformed protester does. They physically resisted to the point of being dragged away, being zip-tied, having all sorts of violence done to them, and off into the buses they went. And/or paddy wagons, ambulances, the whole works. And it was heart-wrenching, it really was. Not only because they could have avoided all that, and because it just destroyed it. I went to Martin Place the other day, and there's still some, token thing there, but it's just dead. That killed it. As for myself, I had 2 cameras going. one in each hand, one streaming to the internet, in case they did anything to me. And I was basically just an observer. Tried to tell them that I wasn't camping, that I wasn't in breach of their thing. The stormtroopers basically just stormtroopered at me. Didn't even give me eye contact, just very well trained zombies, really. Robots, whatever you want to call them. If you're a riot cop, dude, don't be. And I think there was some other press, there were other people with cameras, some people had ideas. And, you know, Mr. Stars was still out there talking to the people with the biggest, most expensive, most well-lit cameras with the most attractive, well-made-up people in front of them, you know, proper press. And I just went to him, I asked him, you know, what legal authority did they have to physically remove people from the area, some crap like that. Asked him if it was a move-on order, if it was, can I get the paperwork of what it applies to, who it applies to, when, under what reason. You should know all that, by the way, if you're protesting. Know the legality of move-on orders and what they have to do. Police can't just tell you, pardon my language, as they usually hear do, just piss off, can't come back for a day, can't come back ever. Some dude couldn't come back for some ridiculous amount of time. I interviewed him as well. But yeah, they can't do that. They have to follow a procedure and paperwork must be lodged. And it can only be done for certain reasons too. You should know that. You should know that. Anyway. So yeah, he basically confirmed that they were enforcing the council order of no camping, basically. So he had a little camera of the sign that stated that. And then I think Mr. Lots of Stars started to get a bit too flustered for answering public's questions. How dare we? And he must have done the old, whatever it was, and the sergeant of the stormtroopers yelled out some military crap that was unintelligible, and then they started doing the line, and just the wall, the unstoppable force, started pushing people back. At that point, I again tried to talk to them, and they were just completely robotic in their actions and reactions. So in this situation, all you do is let them physically remove you. By that I mean stand your ground, let them physically move you. Simple as that. Just let them, which they do, and then just come swinging. And film that, make sure there's proof of that, and then just move back and just keep letting them do that. You're not resisting, and you're not cooperating. You're being forcibly removed, illegally, by the way. So that's what I did, and again, it just broke my heart. I mean, you know, there were old women getting dragged away by their contorted wrists, which is just ridiculous. Again, if you're a riot cop, don't be. And she was screaming, this is your future, like all the things you would want to say. Especially me, I wanted to say that because I totally felt her, but that wasn't the smart play. That wasn't the effective play. So they destroyed all their stuff. I think in the end they dumped it, went to a tin, something like that. People got forcibly moved all the way down to the bottom of Martin Place, and then that wasn't enough. The line turned left and kept moving them all the way back to Hyde Park or whatever it is, James Station basically. Those of us that... It's unfair to say anything. You know, people were literally woken up in the middle of the night, and they were half asleep and dozed. And it was adrenaline. Adrenaline was in the air, I'll tell you that much. But some of us just crossed the road because the stormtroopers were just doing the pavement and maybe out to a little bit into the road, pushing people back that way. They didn't go all the way across the road, so across the road, this is when I interviewed some dude who was there as well, who got told some ridiculous thing about how he can't go like to anywhere in the city or whatever. And then after that, after I interviewed him and the line was back to Hyde Park, I went to Hyde Park to film what was going on there. I think it's Hyde Park. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong. You'll know what I'm talking about if you bother. And they had some stormtroopers there blocking the entrance to the park as well. And they were giving a very clear indication that they were preventing people from accessing the park. So with the 2 cameras, I went up to them and asked them what they were doing and if they were illegally preventing people from entering the park. And they had a little bit of a huddle from memory, and they said, no, you can go in there if you like. Words to that effect. And they slowly slunk away. That was it. That was pretty much it for all intensive purposes. That was it. So yeah, people got injured, lost property, got arrested, some got charged. I gave the footage that I had as evidence to whoever it was in that group. You've still got my USB cable, by the way. Hope you still do anyway. And that was pretty much the end of it. And I relate that story purely because if you're going to go up that hard against the state, the government, the power, the authority, whatever, you've got to know the rules and you've got to know what they're doing. And just chucking a hissy fit and going all anger is not the correct way. Knowledge is the correct way. I could have probably, and maybe still can, I don't know what the limitation of time after that occurred is. I could have, complained and tried to see if I could have something official happen. I don't know how official that could have gone, but it was certainly illegal what they did to me individually, and that's something that should be addressed. And that's how you protest in that manner anyway. Going back to the Aboriginal elder guy and everything, I mean, that's getting zero attention, so I don't know what you'll do in that circumstance. Maybe he didn't resist, maybe that is what he did, and they walked him out, and he's got an opening for some legal action, who knows. But if you're going to protest, know what you're doing, know the law, especially when it comes to protesting. There's not too many laws that you need to know about. If you're in a public place, just get to know certain... They want you to move you on, so get to know how legally they can do that and how they cannot do that. And then you attack after they do the thing illegally through the legal system. You do not take them physically, because that is ridiculous, and that's what they're designed to repel. Obviously. So if you're interested in that, look up that other YouTube channel I talked about and have a look at the videos. They're pretty shaky, and I didn't have night vision equipment or anything like that, but they do get better a couple of minutes in. Just give it time. I know they're long, again, it's all unedited, and they are pretty bad to begin with, but they improve, and you get to see some interesting things. While I was also there, that reminds me, I was trying to interview people about why they were there, of the idea that, the meetings and the media and everything that they were releasing seemed to be of a very collectivist nature that didn't really represent the people I saw and heard in the crowd by the shirts that they were wearing, what I heard them talk about, and the posters everywhere. I mean, there is no way that the same people that were the voice of this group were representing the people that put up all the paraphernalia everywhere, because they were totally contradictory, or certainly very different. So I've got a fair few videos of that as well. I just basically thought of I don't know, 5 or something like that, pretty neutral questions to ask people, basically why they were there, what they thought it was about, what their political ideology is, what they want to change in government, given the authority to, how would they implement those changes. Basically the things that I think you should have in the can if you're going to protest. Let's say, for example, you happen to get media attention and they come and interview you. That's the kind of things that you should be ready to answer intelligently. What is this about? Why are you here? What do you want? How do you get it? That kind of thing. And of the people that were willing to do it, a lot of people weren't. Someone made me or asked me to not film their face, or some people have bandanas on their face or whatever it was. Anyway, it's an interesting mix of people as far as how informed they are or are not, or their motivations and their ideologies. So that's interesting as well. So check that out too if you're interested. Again, the only reason I didn't do this on the other channel was because I just want to keep this for this. That's all I'm going to be putting on this channel. I think I got some other home birth protests there as well, but anyway, that's that story, and it's long enough. Go check out the other videos if you're interested. I think it is interesting because I haven't really seen anyone else document what happened there to that extent, as far as just raw and edited footage of the eviction. And it is raw, jeez. If I had a better camera, it would have been better, what can I say? So yeah, that's a little bit more about myself. I guess I'm all for protesting, but don't just do it because you're going to do it. Don't do it for any reason other than to actually achieve something. And if you want to achieve something, go in there prepared to achieve something. Yeah, I saw a lot of people that were not like that. I saw a lot of people that were though, jeez. And yeah, again, the fact that here it was done at the RBA gave me some hope, and then that hope was squandered when they got evicted, because it turns out they didn't know enough to keep it going. I've been there for about a month, but really ultimately it didn't achieve very much. Okay, so I'm going to stop spelling it, because if you got here you know how to spell it. Joaquim4gov, Facebook, Twitter, and here. I just got reminded I got some more subscribers or something, so hi and thank you to you. You are my friends, so now spread it out to people that are your friends, or however the hell that system works. I don't know if subscribing does that automatically or whatever. Reminded of my sister who's in Brazil right now. I wonder if you had to go through a body scanner. This is what I was going to get into if I had nothing to say, and this story that I just spent half an hour telling you. So I'll get to body scanners another time. Alright, see you later.